That's it. Namaskar. Warm greetings from Indrashil University to one and all. Today, we are privileged to have Professor Dr. Rama Shushil with us, who is an IITian, and again, she is from DIT University. Presently, she is working with DIT, that is Dehradun Institute of Technology University. And we are also blessed to have amongst us Dr. Bharti Dave, Dean School of Science, Dr. A.P. Vyas, Dean School of Engineering, Mr. Abhinand Pandya, who is Strategic Project Manager at Indrashil University. Then we have Dr. Sumit Chaudhary, who is coordinating this entire webinar with us, and he heads Computer Science and Engineering Department. We have Dr. Neha Singh with us. She is Assistant Professor in CSE Department. Mr. Bhavesh Jain, and we are also connected with Dr. Siddhant Patel, who heads Chemical Engineering Department. And again, I also welcome all the students who have joined us this webinar, which is very interesting, having a title of Artificial Intelligence is a Need of Healthcare, how artificial intelligence has a role to play in healthcare sector. Very important. In the webinar series, this is fourth webinar series, which we have towards advanced and recent technologies in the field of computer science and engineering towards Atmanirbhar Bharat, which has become a buzzword today. And this webinar series is sponsored by GUJCOS, that is Gujarat Council of Science and Technology. So without much further ado, I hand over the charge to Vyas sir for setting the objective for the opening remarks of this webinar.
Thank you, Namrata Madam, and I welcome one and all to this webinar and special invitation to Dr. Ruma Sushil. Yes, it is indeed a very timely and highly needed webinar topic, artificial intelligence for healthcare system. I would like to say that towards the Atmanirbhar Bharat, nowadays you can see uh, everything related to healthcare, most of the part coming from, we are importing from the outside, from the other countries, though we are having such kind of capacity, self capacity at our place itself. So we can develop that. Only thing we need to use multidisciplinary approach to develop such kind of healthcare system at its place. You know, India is now more widely known for the medical tourism. That is the new buzzword in the area of medical treatment. People are coming to India because it is a very highly economical and very good treatment. But still, if we look at the instrumentation side and other things, then we are still dependent on the other countries, though it is economical from treatment point of view in India because of the other charges. So this is a very right topic in a right time. Post COVID, it is highly essential to understand the healthcare system within India because during post COVID, during COVID-19, India proved what it can do. India is in the leading countries who fought COVID-19 in a very effective, very systematic way, and our healthcare system has been appraised by almost all the countries, including UN. So, considering all these things, I can see the relevancy of today's topic is very much, very much appropriate. And even I have seen at IIT Bombay, people have started keeping chip in the heart so that doctor can get alert for any abnormal condition of the patient at any point of time using that chip. Now, these all things are possible just because of this artificial intelligence kind of the system. So it is a very much needed topic, and I wish Sumit and his team that they will give the best knowledge to the participant in today's webinar. And I wish that participant must get the best out of Dr. Rama Sushil because she is an expert in this area. I welcome her to this webinar and I put this webinar open for all. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Vyas sir, for setting the objective of this. Now I invite Dr. Bharti Dave to just brief about Indrashil University, its genesis, just in brief in few sentences.
Okay, just in a few sentences.
Yes.
Madam, just to say, I would be specifically stressing on what was the, you can say, a motive force behind establishing this university. So this university, as everybody knows, has been established by Cadila Pharmaceuticals Limited. This Cadila Pharmaceuticals Limited, which is one of the largest privately held pharmaceutical company of India. And now it has its presence felt in about 90 different countries with more than about 12 to 13,000 employees. And this Cadila Pharmaceutical Limited started its educational initiative in 2016, where they established Sri Saraswati Education Foundation. And it was in 2018 where Indrashil University was established by Cadila Pharmaceuticals as the first life sciences university of our country. And the source of inspiration behind establishing this university was Dr. Shri Indravadan Bhai Modi. He was popularly known as the medicine man of India, a core nationalist at heart, you should say. And he truly believed that medicine should be affordable and should reach to the poorest of the poor of our country. And this care is still being continued today at Cadila Pharmaceuticals Limited, where the medicines that are produced, manufactured, are very, very affordable and they are reaching to the last poorest of the poor of our country. So to honor their legacy of care and compassion, it was Dr. Rajiv Bhai Modi, our founder, chairman of this university, who established this university in loving memory of his parents, Shri Indravadan Bhai Modi, Srimati Sheila Ben Modi, from whose names Indrashil University has gained its name. So Indravadan Bhai Modi truly believed that it is research and innovation which would create a benchmark in our Indian education system. And this was the main motive behind establishing this university. We focus equally well on both academics as well as research. So under the umbrella of Indrashil University, we have School of Science, we have School of Engineering. School of Engineering offers a BTech in Computer Science and Engineering, Mechanical Engineering, and Chemical and Biochemical Engineering, whereas School of Science offers BSc Honors in Chemistry, BSc Honors in Biosciences, MS in Chemistry, MS in Microbiology, and MSc in Animal Biology. PhD is offered in both the branches, both the schools, engineering as well as in School of Sciences. So in this Indrashil University, we have as our provost, Dr. J.S. Yadav, a truly national figure, you can say. He is one of the best non-organic chemists of our country. And you know, leaders of such type who are leading the universities give success to the university. And that is why, even though we are in its third year, our university has progressed a lot, both in academics as well as in research. Over and above this, we have, you can say, incubation centers. We provide 3 incubation platforms to the students and to the young innovators of Gujarat if they want to take up this business, this entrepreneurship to a sustainable business. We have Atal Incubation Center, which has been supported by Niti Aayog, Government of India. We have Indrashil Innovative Foundation, exclusively supported by Government of Gujarat. And recently, Industries Commissionerate of Gujarat has given us, supported us with a nodal agency to encourage youth of our country to become future entrepreneurs. Over and above this, we have extremely sophisticated state-of-the-art laboratories, both in engineering as well as in School of Sciences. One of the, you can say, a very sophisticated equipment that we have that has been made available to our PhD as well as our master's students is NMR, Nuclear Magnetic Resonance Spectroscopy. The cost is 4 to 5 crores of rupees. We determine the purity of the chemical compound, we can determine the structure of the compound, and this is made available, this is working round the clock 24/7, and which is made available to both our master students for analysis of their samples. They are doing their dissertation work over here. We made the sample analysis. It is being used by the PhD scholars as well as by the faculty of this institute. So this was just to brief you about what our university is and how this young and beautiful university, what has it achieved in these 3 years. We are into our third year. Thank you very much, madam. And we look forward to hearing from you. And just by your topic, one of the idea that has clicked my mind is, as an interdisciplinary course, we can apply artificial, we can, you can say, we can start this course. How is artificial intelligence useful in life sciences and specifically in health sector? Let us see how we can move on to this. Thank you very much, madam.
Thank you, Dr. Bharti, for a briefing on Indrashil University. In fact, its genesis. Now, before I invite Dr. Rama Sushil, I invite Mr. Abhinand Pandya for just sharing the vision and mission of the university.
Yeah, good morning to you all. Thank you both the deans for setting the tone and giving a really detailed background about Indrashil University, the vision mission which has been set forward. And I would like to brief in detail that this university has been set with the vision of Dr. P.Y. Modi, who is the founding president of this university, with a vision that, we are not going to earn out of it. We want to make lot of more Rajesh like him in this society, so that they get better education, they get better output, they get better jobs, and they become a next entrepreneurs. And that's why, from last 1.5 years, if you look at the objective of this university, we have been briefing the students with lot of experienced teachers, faculties, management grad, who have been giving them lot of lectures, their wisdom advice, so that the students, when they pass out, they get lot of knowledge. And that's where we are banking on his vision to make this a knowledge platform. IU as the knowledge platform for futuristic thing, a life science university, which is banking on a very great knowledge platform, though every university takes minimum a decade or two to ripen, but we are fast progressing on that pace. And thank you, Dr. Rama Sushil, for sparing your time and taking up such a wonderful topic of AI in healthcare. Today, it is a buzzword for everybody. If you look at US or everywhere, 50% of my students which are saying they are wearing a watch which is having some kind of heart rate or pulse, which is like
True.
today most of your devices, which is like heart devices, they are connected with mobile. So your IoT has already come into picture. So AI is already there. So AI in healthcare is a buzzing word. Most of the Apple iPhone, the innovations is happening majorly into healthcare sector. They are trying to see that, okay, how they can shift an ICU into the mobile phone, which is going to the futuristic thing, so that the doctors are able to avail the critical functionality from a mobile. You just attach your mobile and they are able to see all the critical functions, including blood pressure, blood sugar, everything. So future for AI is bright, and for a life science university like us, such topic is inherent that we have to bank on such topic to move forward to the next ladder. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Abhinand, because this has actually given students also an idea that how we are going about and what the topic is going to offer them, and that too with the expertise of Dr. Rama Sushil. So now inching further, I invite Dr. Sumit to please share the credentials of our speaker today. Dr. Sumit.
Thank you, ma'am. Good morning and welcome you all in continuation of fourth lecture series in the webinar, on advanced and recent technologies in the field of CSC towards Atmanirbhar Bharat. And I'm very thankful to today's expert, Dr. Rama Sushil, ma'am, for accepting our invitation for delivering expert lecture on artificial intelligence as a need of healthcare. And now I'm going to introduce today's expert, Dr. Rama Sushil. So Dr. Rama did her PhD from IIT Roorkee, and right now Dr. Rama is working as professor in School of Computing, DIT University, Dehradun. Dr. Rama has more than 20 years of academic experience in computer science field, including research, teaching, and departmental administration in India and abroad. Dr. Rama published a book on artificial intelligence and contributed 2 chapters entitled Application of Cloud Computing in Library Information Service Sector in IGI Global, USA, and other chapter entitled M-Commerce. Dr. Rama has more than 50 research papers in her credit published in SCI Scopus Referred Journal that includes national, international, and has different conferences proceeding of IEEE and Springer. Dr. Rama reviewed many research papers of reputed international journals. She has performed international academic visit to USA, Italy, Japan, Taiwan, Singapore, etc. And her area of interest includes mobile computing, mobile agent technology, algorithms, modeling and simulation, WSM, and cloud computing. And she is right now she is guiding several PhD scholars also. So this is all about Dr. Rama. Now, ma'am, floor is yours. You can start your session, please. Thank
Thank
you.
you very much, Dr. Sumit, for the introduction and giving me the opportunity to deliver my thoughts in this area. So let me share the screen and start the topic. Is the screen visible?
No, ma'am, it's not visible till now.
No.
Then, at bottom
Okay.
you no, it's fine.
I think,
Yeah.
okay.
Yes.
Okay, fine. Okay. So the today's event by Indrashil University as a part of webinar series on advanced. Actually, I want to make it a side. Okay. Yeah. So as a part of the webinar series by Indrashil University on the topic advanced and recent technologies in the field of computer science and engineering towards Atmanirbhar Bharat. Focusing on the theme of the webinar series, I try to pick up the topic and the advanced technologies in the today's scenario, which is very important and useful in almost all the areas. Artificial intelligence and healthcare, I focused the AI application over the healthcare after the discussion of some fundamental terminologies and understanding the AI. So the reason behind taking this topic is AI and ML are new buzzwords. Today's every child of the country is really aware with these two terms, artificial intelligence and machine learning. And moreover, the deep learning is also a very common word nowadays. So focusing towards the AI first, I will be covering these topics for the artificial intelligence, what is it actually, and the basic terminologies related to this, types of artificial intelligence. Then I will be talking about the top 12 ways AI will revolutionize the delivery and science of healthcare, how it is going to affect actually the delivery and in the field of healthcare. This all will be talking in the top 12 ways, and then some interesting, unbelievable applications of artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence in healthcare, and then I will be just giving the brief to the students who are non-CSE that what is required to learn, use, and apply artificial intelligence, because the computer science engineering students may be already aware with this. Okay, so let's move ahead with the fundamental of artificial intelligence. Whenever we have the term artificial intelligence, some such kind of picture comes in our mind, but it is not the only thing. The robots are there in the artificial intelligence, but we have many other softwares which are representing the artificial intelligence in their behavior. Okay, so artificial intelligence is basically the science and engineering of making intelligent machines. Machines includes your mobile phones, computer system, robots, etc. If we talk about the definition, what is this actually? Artificial intelligence. It is sometimes termed as the machine intelligence also. In computer science, artificial intelligence, sometimes called machine intelligence, is intelligence demonstrated by machines in contrast to the natural intelligence. Natural intelligence is related with the behavior of the humans and the animals, whatever they act, whatever they respond, whatever they realize, whatever they feel. Okay. So the term artificial intelligence is used to describe machines that mimic cognitive functions that humans associate with other human minds, such as learning and problem solving. Okay. Now, what is human intelligence? So before talking for the artificial intelligence, let's see what is the human intelligence, because the imitating the behavior or just repeating the behavior of the humans is through the machine is basically the artificial intelligence. Getting it done through some algorithms and other techniques is the artificial intelligence. So what is human intelligence? It is a composition of abilities like learning. Learning is an ability how to learn the things and then accordingly respond and improve. So one of the important ability of the human is learning. So when we talk about the AI, then learning must be the one characteristic of the machine also like a human being. Another important ability of the human intelligence is the reasoning power. The human being is having the reasoning power. They can reason the things and accordingly change the responses, observations, and the results accordingly. So reasoning and then perceiving is also one of the important human intelligence characteristic. Perceiving the things and understanding of the language is also one of the important ability of the intelligence. If we talk about understanding of the language, you see nowadays you are able to talk to your mobile phone. You are able to talk with your computer system. You are able to get the things done through the computer systems with different ways. And that is all happening because you are able to communicate with the computer system with the help of computer programming languages. So that part is already done in context of the artificial intelligence or the step towards the artificial intelligence. Understanding of the language where the machines can also understand what do you want at a certain limit. And now that limit is extending in terms of very complex, improved techniques, which we can teach to the computer. Okay. And what is human intelligence? It is again having one more important ability, feeling. The computer system should also, or the machines, any other machine, robots, if can be having the capability to have a feel kind of characteristic inbuilt in them is also very important. So one of the another important human intelligence characteristic, the feeling, is also to be taken care of when we talk about the artificial intelligence, all the cognitive functions. Okay, so before moving ahead for all other things of the artificial intelligence, its interesting applications and specific applications in the area of healthcare, let's see the other important buzzwords related with the artificial intelligence, machine learning and the deep learning. When we talk about all these three things, these all are the part of the artificial intelligence. Let's say this artificial intelligence in context with all others and differentiating them. Any technique that enables computers to mimic human intelligence, like in between when we were talking about the abilities of the humans, I pointed out. So any technique that enables computers to mimic human intelligence using logic, using logic, if then else rules, decision trees and machine learning. including the deep learning. This all together is actually the artificial intelligence. This domain is itself showing. Okay, so this is a single umbrella, this artificial intelligence. Here, if you see what this machine learning within, it is the subset of AI. It is the subset of AI that includes basically the statistical techniques that enable the machines to improve at tasks and experience. With the help of the machine learning, we are able to build up the capacity within the machines to improve the quality of the task done by them and learning through the experience as well. Okay, so the category includes the deep learning within. Okay, deep learning is the subset of machine learning, which is composed of algorithms that permit software to train itself to perform the task. And when we are talking about the deep learning, you can understand it through the applications like speech and image recognition is the application where the deep learning lies behind. By exposing the multi-layered neural networks, I will be going into the detail with the fundamentals for the neural network also and what are these layers. But the deep learning is clearly recognized with the help of the term multi-layered neural networks. A lot of complexities and communications exist between the different neural nodes. Okay, so let's go ahead and beginning the understanding for the artificial intelligence through the algorithms. Without algorithms, nothing works with the computers, with any robotics functionality designing, nothing exists without algorithm. So algorithm is basically the set of unambiguous instructions. It is very important the instructions given to the machine must be clear. There should not be any ambiguity at all within the instructions. The set of the instructions that a mechanical computer can execute. Computer should be able to understand all the instructions in a particular sequential manner. That is the algorithm. Many AI algorithms are capable of learning from data and can themselves write other algorithms as well. When we are talking about the algorithm in the context of AI, then these all the things comes into the consideration that there is a possibility to learn itself, that is developing the experience and then using those experience to respond in a different way, in a more better way, in a more intelligent way. Okay, so machine learning we have already talked about in the previous slide. Okay, so no need to repeat here at this level. Neural networks is also important thing. Without this, artificial intelligence cannot work. Although without neural network, artificial intelligence applications can be at the very low level, but for the high level artificial intelligence applications, there is a need of the neural network concept clearance. And the neural network here, the term artificial neural network is used when we are talking about the programming algorithms development. Artificial neural networks are the computer systems vaguely inspired by the biological neural networks. Neural term itself gives the idea about the biological neural and the nodes. That is, these are called the neural neurons. The nodes here are called the artificial neurons. You may have many different nodes which are connected with each other. So biological neural networks is the basic behind the development of artificial neural networks. Each connection like the synapses in the biological brain. You know, the brain complex network exists there. So similarly, the artificial neural networks having the capability build up for the communication between the different nodes, So biological brain can transmit a signal from one artificial neuron to another one. That is the communication between the two nodes, and that is nothing but the message passing and then behaving accordingly, taking the inputs from one node to another one and performing the functions accordingly. Data mining is also very important thing as a part of artificial intelligence. It is the practice of examining large pre-existing databases. So mining the existing information to get some more intelligent information is the data mining, in order to generate the new information or more intelligent results. Okay, so using the existing data and then making the coordination between the different parts of the data and interrelating with them and inferencing with many predicate and the fuzzy logic, etc., is working with the data mining. We can categorize the artificial intelligence into the three parts. Weak AI, I have used this term before also, at the low level applications where you don't need the neural networks, etc., but the simple application can also work with. The other one is a strong AI, then you have the super intelligence. When we talk about the weak AI, it is basically a non-sentient machine intelligence, typically focused on a narrow task, or you can say the specific task. Okay, some particular specific task comes into the category of the weak AI, which cannot do the multiple tasks or multiple reasonings. Strong AI, or you use the term AGI also, this is artificial general intelligence. General term itself giving the next step from weak AI to the strong AI. Machine with ability to apply intelligence to any problem, That is, understanding the variety of the problems is one of the characteristic of this AGI, rather than just one specific problem. Typically meaning the AGI, that is the applications which are at least as smart as a typical human. Okay. Super intelligence is a next and a very important development of the artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence far surpassing that of the brightest and most gifted human minds. See, it's ahead of the human moreover. Because of a lot of feelings, etc., sometimes the human is not able to have a good decisions, which is not there with the machines. So surpassing that of the brightest and the most gifted human minds. Due to recursive self-improvement, you see, at every stage, the decisions are improving, more better results are coming up. You know, experience makes the difference, that all is inbuilt with the machines with the help of this artificial intelligence. Super intelligence is expected to be a rapid outcome. Is expected to be the rapid outcome is a rapid. Super intelligent, that is the fast processing going on. The logics are well set. The algorithms are very good, so that you can have the rapid outcome of the creating artificial general intelligence. So rapid AGI is your super intelligence. Now, it will also help a lot to understand the level of this AI nowadays, helping in many different areas. And what we say that AI will revolutionize the delivery and science of healthcare. The delivery process is also going to be changed. Like the madam has shown that wearing a watch. So kind of delivery process to get know how many steps you have taken in a day, that all is towards development more in AI and general utilization by moreover by many common humans, common men. So AI applications are everywhere, all around us. So let's see in a more depth that how the AI sciences they are going to change in the delivery for healthcare and for many other research issues. The first one you see is about unifying mind and machine. Unifying mind and machine through brain-computer interface, BCI, brain-computer interfaces. Very interesting application and very useful also in some of the problems occurs with the human beings. They cannot speak, etc. for such type of things. So like you see, I have just noted a few statements given by some experts. If I am in the neurology ICU on Monday and I see someone who has suddenly lost of the ability to move or speak, what will be our desire? We want to restore that ability to communicate by tune. It's so fast and such a great updation, overcoming from the problem for the loss of the move or the speak. That is possible with the help of this BCI, brain computer interface. Okay, is told by the director of Center of Neurotechnology and Neuro Recovery. Okay, next, in terms of AI development and helping in the healthcare, developing the next generation of radiology tools. Artificial intelligence is helping to enable virtual biopsies. Virtual biopsies, you see, and advance the innovative field of radiomics, which focuses on harnessing image-based algorithms to characterize the phenotypes and genetic properties of tumors. So it's a great development, virtual biopsies, expanding access to care in under-reserved or developing regions. It is possible to have the approach in the under-reserved or the developing regions with the help of AI. You see, it is able to fill up the shortage of the trained healthcare experts, including the ultrasound technicians and radiologists, can significantly limit access to the life-saving care in developing nations. Because of the machines expert for doing the things which the experts were doing at the early stages now can be done through the machines. So helping the people living in the under-reserved or developing regions. This is possible because of the artificial intelligence. So it can help them mitigate the impacts of this severe deficit of qualified clinical staff. Reducing the burdens of electronic health record use. Because of AI, it is possible to reduce the load on the people, okay, because the processing, record keeping, and accessibility becoming easier and intelligent. The kind of data required can be accessed very easily. So EHR, this is electronic health record, are now using artificial intelligence to create more intuitive interfaces and automate some of the routine processes. Because of the AI, some routine processes can be programmed and can be done without human intervention, okay, which actually consume much time of the user, so saving a lot of time for the data processing and the reporting. And you see, a voice recognition, dictation are helping to improve the clinical documentation process. This is also interesting to know the benefit of this AI. It is helping with the help of this voice recognition. The clinical documentation process can be made very easily, but the natural language processing tool might not be going far enough. So there are a lot of developments still in research areas. You can say the research gaps where it is to be developed a lot in terms of technical algorithms, so that there can be the best clinical documentation possible with the help of this NLP advancement, natural language processing. Next, there is a containing the risk of antibiotic resistance. What it is? Electronic health record data can help to identify infection patterns. You see, because of this EHR, the data analysis can be performed and it is easy to identify the infection patterns and highlight patients at risk before they begin to show the symptoms. Leveraging machine learning that is learning through the experience, leveraging machine learning and AI tools to drive these analytics can enhance their accuracy and create faster, more accurate alerts for healthcare providers. You see, whenever you go for any treatment, doctors sometimes ask, do you have any allergy, etc. Here, with the help of AI and electronic health record, one can easily identify itself, or the doctor, family doctor can easily find out it using the AI tools with the help of this electronic health records. Okay. Creating more precise analytics for pathology images. Analytics can drill down to pixel level on extremely large digital images, can allow providers to identify nuances that may escape the human eye. See, human beings are very sensitive and may skip some of the things. Sensitive, I have used the sensitive term because of the lot of sensitivity with the people. They may sometimes, because of lot of feelings develop within them and mind working for multiple things, person may skip some of the observations through the images, but AI will not skip that also. Great help to the people to have the correct, right, and the fast observations through the images. Artificial intelligence can also improve productivity by identifying features of interest. If you have the EHR with you, then what is of interest at a particular moment of time matters and can be easily taken up from the database. Bringing intelligence to medical devices and machines. AI is really bringing out this all with the machines and many medical devices. I will show some of the other slides where you will see the different instruments developed for the operation purpose and for the analysis purpose as well. Advancing the use of immunotherapy for cancer treatment. Immunotherapy for cancer treatment. What is this immunotherapy? Immunotherapy is one of the most promising avenues for treating cancer. Immunotherapy. By using the body's own immune system. Everybody is having their own immune system. Like in the COVID time, you have seen the people who have the good immune power were not affected by those problems, while the others having great and a lot of problems, a lot of loss to the many families. So the understanding of the own or the particular immune system understanding is very important. So by using the body's own immune system to attack malignance, patients may be able to beat stubborn tumors. However, only a small number of patients respond to current immunotherapy options, which is currently available, is not very common, and many of the people are not able to respond because of their own system, because of a lot of complexities and varieties available. But even then, a good work is going on in this direction for the immunotherapy for cancer treatment. Okay. turning the electronic health record into a reliable risk predictor. So many of the CSE students and the faculty must be doing a lot of applications development for this heart attack prediction. Many research papers are available. Prediction for the sugar or disease prediction, you can generalize it. So a lot of work is possible with the help of different programming and the already made tools available. The prediction of the diseases, monitoring health through wearable and personal devices that everybody is aware with, wearing the watch, etc., and can know about the steps taken up. If the doctor advised to take 10,000 steps per day, at least you are aware with whether you have done that or not. So collecting and analyzing this data is possible with the help of personal wearable devices. Making smartphone selfies into powerful diagnostic tools. Using smartphones to collect images of eyes. You see images of eyes, skin lesions, wounds, infections, medications, or other subjects may be able to help underserved areas cope with a shortage of specialists. Because of the machines expert for few of the data analysis without human intervention, going to help a lot to the people with the help of all these images. And with the smartphones, just you have not to go anywhere else. Your device with you can work for you. Revolutionizing clinical decision making with artificial intelligence at the bedside. You can easily do all these things. I think let me move ahead. Interesting picture, beautiful, attractive one. You see the AI is here where you can have the automatic recognition of ripening tomatoes by artificial intelligence. This machine is able to find out whether this tomato is properly ripe up or at the level ripe up where at whatever level you want it to be. Okay. So different other very useful AI applications for the prosthetic limbs. Mind-controlled prosthetic arm is developed. The user controls the arm through existing nerves, and it is sensitive enough to pick up even a piece of paper. You see the level of precision within the parts of this machine, which can pick up the piece of the paper also. Surgical system, a lot of surgical applications are there of this AI. That is this development of the neuro arm. It is a surgical robotic system that can do delicate brain surgery, which are not possible through the human hand, the doctor's hands. Also enabling the physicians to manipulate tools at the microscopic level. So modifications can also be done with the intervention and the observations of the doctors on these neuroarms. Many other applications in the field of underwater mining, as it is not possible to have mining staff on site at such depth under sea. After all these things, these questions are very common to come up in the minds. Just in between, I kept this slide. Will intelligent machines replace us? I would say no. Because now the requirement is increasing of the people with the other skills. The requirement is same, but the skill has been updated now. Unemployment in the near future, no. There will be the lot of employment possible, but the people have to be equipped with different skills. Mankind endangered as AI robots in control, no, there is no danger. There is no danger, only one has to keep the objective clear that up to what level, where we have to use it. Human evolution, the new cyborgs. Artificial intelligence in factories. Japan ranked fourth in the world. Fourth in the world. In 2016, 303 robots were installed per 10,000 employees. Okay, it is looking that 10,000 employees can be replaced with these 303 robots, so there may be loss. But what I am saying, there is a requirement increasing in other part with different skill. So artificial intelligence in the health now becoming specific. Okay, the time we have some time. I will go through the different applications fastly. First of all, timeline of AI in health. Actually, that AI with the health, the term coined by the John McCarthy, founded as an academic discipline in 1956 in the US. Okay. Then next, produced first problem-solving program in 1960 to 70, or expert system known as general assisting to identify the bacteria and recommending antibiotics. In 1980 and 1990, then further there was the growth of the microcomputer and new levels of network connectivity. Then after that, in 2010 and 19, there was the development of genomic sequences, databases, and AI in electronic health record system, this NLP and the computer vision. Then at the current stage, discovery and development of the drugs, a lot of work is going on for the development of the drugs with the help of this AI. Preclinical research area is also equipped with the AI uses, personalized healthcare, and many more. AI in healthcare can be seen in all these different domains. The patient facing, that is, AI chatbots are in use, wearable devices, personalized genetics, mental health, women's health, skin. These are the different areas in the field of this patient facing. Then telemedicines are also in use in the telehealth area, then lifestyle management, disease management. And in this way, you will see many different uses of artificial intelligence in the area of the research. You will see it in the drug discovery, information and clinical traits, genetic research, helping a lot for removing many other genetic diseases in the hospitals at many different places. So no longer science fiction, AI is transforming basically the healthcare, and AI and robotics are in use, helping the new undergraduate and graduate people for getting the training to develop many good required applications or perform their task easily with the help of AI and robotics. Okay, and early detection, as we talked about, the people are using many tools for the disease prediction, that is the early detection, even for the diagnosis of the diseases, for the decision making, for the treatment, and of life care in the research. We talked about all these. Medical research, AI technology can perform delicate operations like the brain surgery we have talked about. Delicate operations more precisely and efficiently. You can see you see an interesting picture where all the things being operated by the machines. The machines are here, which are able to be operated very precisely and efficiently, better than the human doctor's hand. Role of artificial intelligence in health for keeping well is extended. Let me point out for a few things only. For health monitoring, tools to support interventions and healthy behaviors. And I will be showing you some of the research work also in different areas. You see here the research papers published in the domain of AI for healthcare and artificial intelligence, chatbots, and the future of medicine. Published research work, one can go through this. It is a very useful research paper for the computer science student, for the pharmacy people as well. Okay. Role of artificial intelligence health for the early detection, many tools available, and with the help of that for early detection, the accuracy level is going up to 99 and more than that also. Prediction at the better level can be made with the help of AI. One more research paper, artificial intelligence for diabetic retinopathy screening in Africa. You see, with the help of retina observation, the diabetic patient can be informed for many things or many possibilities which may happen with the patient in future from the health point of view, for the particular part of the body may be affected with the help of this retinopathy screening. So it is a very much useful research paper, and you people will enjoy reading such papers. And that is specifically for the diagnosis, as I told, can be considered as a part of even for the medical images that you know. Okay, just for the idea. And then here with this also, you have the possibility to have more than 90% accuracy rate with the help of the AI algorithms and the image processing. You know, both are going together. One more research paper, it is dermatologist level classification of skin cancer with deep neural networks. So dermatologists are also using the AI for classification of the skins. The AI train a convolutional neural network, CNN, using a data set of particular size clinical images to classify the type of the cancer. This is important application of AI and the published research work. Okay, for the decision making also it is helping a lot. And now this slide is made for the students who are not from the computer science, maybe belong to pharmacy, but are interested to use AI themselves. Then there is a suggestion for them that they can learn particular languages if they have some idea of the algorithm, or if not, then also they can proceed towards the basic programming languages, specifically if they can learn the Python, that can help to them. Otherwise, the students can use all these languages to develop the AI concepts. Okay, so others who are not having the computer background, programming background, can now start with. Not difficult. It needs about a month time to get know the concept of the algorithm and their implementation in particular programming language. The very popular Python programming language is helping the task of the programmers very easy. So this is all I want to tell for today. I think I extended the time. It was up to the 50, it is 59. So I wish to congratulate to the organizers for successful webinar series, and thanks for providing me the platform for sharing my views for AI in healthcare.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, sir.
Wonderfully, you have explained, the role of artificial intelligence in the field of healthcare. So, like you have explained at last, like those who are not computer background, what they have to do to learn AI applications. Basically, they have to go for basic languages, computer languages, so that they can learn artificial intelligence and they can apply in their field. So thank you, ma'am. Thank you once again for providing, the knowledge to our participants. Now, this is the time for question and answer session. So some of the participants have, put their query in chat box. Like one question is there any significant AI advancement in healthcare sector yet?
You see, like I have shown in my one slide, the AI is able to take the help of the machines to operate. And many other applications exist there which are helping the surgical sector and the many surgeons. Of course, there are many interesting. I consider this is the most advanced development of the AI, using the AI machines for brain surgery.
Okay, ma'am. Hope our participant got the answer. Next question that we have, it's can AI surpass human level intelligence?
Yes, it is. It can surpass. I have used that in super intelligence also because of lack of the sensitivity. That is the basic reason which I observe is possible for the machines to surpass the human intelligence.
Correct, correct. So thank you, ma'am. So now it's for a time for concluding remarks. So I'll request Neha, ma'am, for concluding remarks, please.
Okay. I'm audible, sir?
Yeah, yeah.
So very good afternoon to everyone, especially to our speaker, Dr. Rama ma'am. So I would like ma'am to thank ma'am that for her valuable time and for her clear explanation on today's topic, which is based on artificial intelligence is a need for healthcare. Also, I want to thank everyone, those who are present here on this 4th day of our webinar series, which is based on advancement and recent technologies in the field of computer science and engineering towards Atmanirbhar Bharat, which is sponsored by DST and Gujcost. And we are very grateful to Rama ma'am for sharing her views on AI, which is basically like what are the basics of AI terminologies which we use in AI, like algorithms, what is deep learning, what do you mean by data mining, what is neural network. So all the basics she has explained very clearly. And other than that, what are the various types, like what is weak AI, what is strong AI, everything she has explained in a well planned manner, so that a person who is not that of that background can also understand what is going on. So that is very much clear by the ma'am that how we can go for other things also if we don't know the basic. Also, I would like to acknowledge the efforts made by ma'am by giving us so many examples, like what are the applications of AI rather in field of healthcare or in some other fields, like for underwater mining or for surgeries. All these things she has explained. So we are very thankful. Thank you so much, ma'am. And I also want to thank all the participants who are present here for their active participation in this webinar. So hope we all have gained so much knowledge from today's webinar, and we can use this knowledge for our future endeavor also. So thank you everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Now I would like to request Ami sir, Bharti ma'am, Abhinand sir, if you want to put some your views about this lecture series, so you are open for it, sir, ma'am.
See, just one reflection that I want to give, as I said, now let us go into an interdisciplinary approach. Let us incorporate AI in life sciences. Yeah, that would be a good addition. One of the course, yeah. We can think it over in the future. Thank you very much. This lecture has said it can be possible.
Correct, correct. Right. Ami sir, do you want to reflect something?
Yeah, thank you, Sumit, and thank you, Dr. Rama, for a wonderful session. I think you have covered right from basic to the advanced level what has been going on in the area of AI in the sector of health. And yes, I do agree with the opinion of Bharti madam that yes, it is a multidisciplinary approach, and what I am telling since long that in future it will be only engineering. It will not be a AI engineering or computer engineering, mechanical or chemical engineering. Looking at the trend going on, it will be only engineering. And yes, you have answered all the questions during your presentation itself, that how AI is helpful in even gathering data, analyzing data, diagnosis of the disease everywhere. And even if you go through the health history of a person, your AI can help you in detecting the health index of the person. So thank you very much for a wonderful session.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you,
Abhinand
everyone.
sir, do you want to reflect something?
No, in fact, whatever madam has given the perspective, it is too good. She has taken up a broader perspective of all the healthcare aspects. And since I am an instrumentation engineer, coming from the old days fuzzy logic system, which Vyasa remembers, I've been taught by Mr. Guchla, worked with Tata Honeywell's in DCS system and opto circuits at Hathi Cement. So, and coming to Apple hospitals, where I have seen, Medtronics, they have got a fabulous Holter system. My heart has been monitored continuously by a doctor. So suppose you give a Holter to somebody, they use just a patch. It just got a mobile chip, and your doctor has the pulse of it, real-time basis. And it has got a very good AI that even the pulse rate drops by 20 basis point, it will give an alarm to everybody in the system. So you are sitting at the home and you are able to monitor it. So that's how advanced is this. I'm talking in the year 2017. Today it has gone very high. In fact, one of my classmates at MIT, Vinay Bapat, who is heading the software division at Medtronics in Hyderabad, they are doing a fabulous job, not only in heart, but also into onco and other areas. It is worthwhile. This area is a booming place, and I will request all the kids to focus on it, start working on it, and they will get a lot of things. You have to check with inputs of signals, how to capture the signals and analyze it and throw it back to the doctor. That's the which we have to work on. Thank you.
Very true, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you for giving your reflections. So now it's time for vote of thanks. So I'll request Gunjan. She is one of our students for vote of thanks, please. Gunjan?
Hello, sir. I'm audible?
Yeah, you are audible, please.
So good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of Indrashil University, I, Gunjan Kumpani, take this opportunity to propose vote of thanks to those who have directly and indirectly contributed to this webinar. At the outset, I thank our today's speaker, Professor and Dr. Rama Sushil, for providing knowledge regarding one of today's needs, which is artificial intelligence. We are really enlightened with your knowledge and presence. Thank you. We are thankful to our Professor Dr. Namrata Bajaj, Dean and Principal Dr. A.P. Vyas, Dean of School of Science Dr. Bharti P. Dave, Project Strategic Manager Mr. Abhinand Pandya, our HOD Computer Science Dr. Sumit Chaudhary, for taking time from your busy schedule and inspiring us with your kind words. A special thanks to our professors Ms. Neha Singh, Mr. Bhavesh Jain, and Dr. Siddhant Patel for managing this webinar and for your unflinching support. As well as our heartfelt thanks to our students present here for paying attention and learning what our speaker said. With this, we would like to move to the end of today's webinar. Have a good day to you all.
Thank you, Gunjan. So once again, Dr. Rama, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you, Dr. Bharti. Nice to hear from you about the university, many things, really great. Okay, thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Nice meeting you online.
See you once again some other time. Okay, bye, ma'am.
Bye-bye.
Bye.